All right, welcome back to episode 6 of Sunday Chirps. We're joined today by Eli, Beer League Beauty. How's everyone's weekend? How was everyone's weekend?
Guess I can jump in. I had a solid weekend for recovery and then some golf. Shot way too high once again, but still fun.
Where'd you play?
Just in Pompano. It's the Palm
Gotcha.
course, but yeah, good deal.
Nice.
Nice day out.
Yeah. What about you, Grant?
To the city for Irish Day. Was on spring break. It was pretty eventful weekend. We went to Hair of the Dog. It was a great bar in the city. It was just different. Don't have much to say. What about you, Klein?
Yeah, so St. Patrick's Day, it was Friday is what you mean. But basically, I want to say Friday, I coached 8U and then 16U back to back, which was a weird dynamic. There's like some clinics. And then I think I just shipped it home and just started throwing back drinks. And then Eli came over and we definitely got after it a little too hard. We made our way around to Fort Lauderdale. It was it was super packed. Like,
It was crowded.
it looked like I don't even know. It looked like there was a parade going on. Like every street was just filled with people by the bars. So that was an absolute gong show.
City was just
Um,
like that. It was insane. Like thousands in the streets.
And when you say the city, you mean New York City,
New
which
York
is
City.
significantly bigger. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we would call the city. But I feel like I don't know, a Midwesterner,
Yeah, I
anyone
prefer to
listening.
like Wausau, Wisconsin as a city. Like 50,000 people.
No, but do you say like if you're going like, oh, we're going to the city? Is it there like one in mind or?
Not really, honestly. The cities, like Twin Cities, would be the only thing you'd refer to as like the cities, but I don't know,
Gotcha.
not Wisconsin.
So like anyone from New York or New Jersey, I'll probably be like, oh, you're going to the city, and that refers to like Manhattan. Not even like Brooklyn, Queens, Staten. I feel like it's only Manhattan. I feel like
Yeah, it's a whole different beast.
seriously, but yeah, let's kind of jump into Mr. Midwest. So what was it like growing up? You're Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, right in the heart of it. Great.
What was it like growing up in Wisconsin?
I loved it. I think it's like the perfect, like small enough. Like my town was not big at all. Like 25,000 town next to us, and I was like in a 12,000 population town. But it was fun. Like you, small enough town where you and your buddies could go do whatever you want, rip it up, knew everyone. But also close enough to like Madison, Milwaukee, where if you wanted to go do something on a weekend or get involved with other stuff, you're close enough to that. But it was fun. Definitely at some point you realize like maybe not for me for a while, go try something bigger. I mean, Fort Lauderdale, you guys probably not big at all, but coming from central Wisconsin is definitely a pretty decent step up. But yeah, a lot of fun growing up in Wisconsin, a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
How far is like Madison and
So
St. Paul?
Madison from where I was is about an hour and a half. I'm terrible at directions. And then the Twin Cities about 3 hours. Minnesota about 2 hours from us. And then where I went to college was right on the border of Minnesota, like the western southwest border of Wisconsin and Minnesota as well. So like a 5-minute drive from my college campus to Minnesota. So pretty close with that side of stuff as well.
Sweet.
That is awesome. What would you say the winters are like in Wisconsin? I know they're not known to be great.
Yeah, I guess like you guys know all about it with New York, the snow and everything. You guys probably get even more snow than I guess not this year in New York to get like anything, but those nor'eastern like whatever blizzards you always hear about seem bad in Wisconsin. But you just get used to it. It's just like every year. But it was fun. You'd be able to do winter activities outside, sledding, skating. Growing up, we had a rink in our backyard. My dad would build for us. We had the warming shed and everything. So that was a huge part of childhood. And just something you look forward to every year. It was hockey season back home. It was favorite time of the year. And all the buddies would come over, play in the backyard, skate outside, and then have the sleepovers when you were a kid. It was a blast.
That's sick. I know for like I feel like people interpret like, oh, New York gets a lot of snow.
Yeah.
There's basically like 2 or even 3 different states, if you want to call it, New York,
Yeah.
upstate New York, and then New York City and Long Island
Okay.
are basically, I mean, New York City and Long Island, similar climate, but upstate's just a different planet. Upstate you could consider a Midwest state
What is like
because, say it again?
Buffalo considered? Like, where's that? Like,
That's up. Oh, so that's kind of a hot topic. Anyone from downstate, like New York City or lower, will say that's upstate because everything's upstate from us.
okay.
But if you ask someone from Buffalo, they're from Western New York, and it's pretty crazy to think that. But I mean, they're all the way west in the state,
Yeah.
but they're also like up north, and they get the lake effect. They get dumped on with snow.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Seen some crazy stuff there for sure.
Yeah, so Long Island doesn't get a ton of snow, but upstate will get dumped on for sure. But yeah, so you talked about the outdoor rinks in the backyard. How long does ODR season last for in Wisconsin?
Just guess year to year. Like, I think we had ours, and we started probably in 4th grade, and we had it all the way through 7th grade growing up. But it was just every year you never knew. Like, it'd melt one week a little bit, and then the next week it was the best ice all year. It's just so unpredictable. But normally it'd be like mid-November, if I remember correct, and then late February, sometimes early March, just depending on the year. But yeah, those are just a blast because youth hockey in Wisconsin only practice twice a week. The other nights you can go play outside. And then our cities, the cities I grew up in, they had outdoor rinks too, where you could just go skate publicly. They have like the big sheet open for skating and then like a hockey one. And it was funny because like a lot of the football players, like high school football players, they always love to play the pond hockey. So it'd be fun on weekends to go just mess around with them and stuff. Is just funny when all your buddies are actually playing a sport you enjoy. Is interesting to watch all those guys skate though.
You're just dusting them?
No, I would always just go to have fun. I didn't really try, just pass here and there, throw something in someone's skates, see them fall or something funny, but nothing too crazy.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. There is no Wisconsin NHL team, so who do you root for?
Ooh, yeah, I guess I never really had. I was a big bandwagon Blackhawks fan back in the day, like 2010 and stuff. Just because why wouldn't I be? I had good excuse. Wisconsin has their own team, so I root to the close team. I would always say, even though Minneapolis was closer. But now, like probably the Canadians would be the team I'd pull for, just because I have a old teammate that from high school that plays for them now. So
we will definitely get into that in a bit. But so what was youth hockey like in Wisconsin? What did that kind of look like?
So yeah, I played the house stuff. I was like, it's called WAHA, and Wisconsin Amateur Hockey Association, I think it is. And every city pretty much has their local team, and it's like single A is like the bigger cities, double A, smaller, and triple A, or not triple A, but just I don't think that's how I refer to it. So that was what I would always play, and then you'd have your regions, pretty much play your team in the region or a little regional tournament with whatever size towns are in your whatever single A or double A, and then state tournament. But it was fun. You'd be traveling all around the state. Normally did a home and away tournament in the winter, and then summertime came around, we'd play triple A stuff. There's a handful of teams throughout Wisconsin that would go to Minnesota, Chicago area in the summer, and that was more the high-end stuff, which was a lot of fun growing up to do that. You'd play with the better kids around the state on those teams. They all come together, so you got to know a good amount of people throughout the state through those. Play. It's a very Minnesota competition.
I think it's interesting too. Go ahead, Max.
There's a lot of teams, right, in Michigan? Like hundreds, right?
Wisconsin, yeah, there's a ton of teams. Like pretty much every pretty much every city has a team, or if not the smaller cities like unincorporated suckers, but every like mid-sized town pretty much has a team. Like in a couple rinks here in like about every city. So yeah, it was fun. Like our town I grew up in, we had a youth rink, which was like the Ice Hawks there, and then we had our high school rink with the city owned, the Willet, which was a lot of fun, made a lot more ice time availability just in a smaller town.
Go ahead, Joe.
So I wanted to bring up that Eli and I had spoken the other day about some of the differences between youth hockey, and in New York and Florida too, it's like so different than Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Max and I played high school, like high school hockey is basically a joke in like New York. Like it's cool like to win and like teams are competitive, but I mean there's no real ice time. Most teams are just depending on travel hockey unless you're private.
Mhm.
So it's crazy. Like you're like high school was like the shit in Wisconsin. Right?
Yeah, high school is a pretty decent sized deal. Obviously Minnesota, neighbors to the north, that's a whole different beast. But Wisconsin is a pretty big deal. We we ran like a pretty solid team. We had 5 days of practice each week, normally 2-3 games a week in season. We had our nice locker room in the rink, skate sharpener, all the 9 yards, and we were a pretty good team in the state. Though we were definitely a team that had more funding and stuff, just given our where we were in the state and the hockey community. But it was definitely a big deal. It was something that every kid who grows up in Wisconsin looks forward to playing their high school hockey team. But definitely a shift now. I've seen like the AAA stuff in Wisconsin. The Tier 1 hockey's picking up. I think they have 3 teams in the state between Milwaukee Ad, Junior Ads, Caps, and Gamblers. But high school hockey's a pretty solid deal because there's that Team Wisconsin stuff too that you have to play high school hockey in order to be on that team.
Definitely. And I don't want to downplay the New York high school hockey. Like it's still super competitive, but there's no like we didn't really have any ice slots. We were lucky to get like once a week. And then games would be I'd say we had like 1 game a week, more or less.
Yeah.
And we used to have crowd show out. I mean we did pretty well with our high school team.
Yeah, that was the fun.
Sorry, for
Yeah.
our team, it was like that, I would say. But like most teams, it was not crowded. Like there would be no fans. Like high school hockey it was like completely opposite to like how you're saying it. Like we weren't getting recruited out of high school. We weren't doing anything. Like we would just do it literally for fun. Like there was no other reason to do it. I mean, we live in a town where we got lucky, where we had fans.
I think, too, the recruiting side of it, a lot of that in Wisconsin comes from your summer team you play on. So, like, the cream of the crop, they're on that Team Wisconsin team, and I think that's where they're going to get most of their looks. And then maybe some leakage into the high school season when their scouts are coming to watch a particular kid play in high school games. So, you might get lucky and get sought out that how. But, yeah, it was fun. It was the first time you're really playing in front of a crowd that isn't like your parents and grandparents in high school. I know our school did a good job of promoting our games, if you will, and we'd always do like the theme student section and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun playing in that. I know we had a couple packed barns in my time there. It was a lot of fun.
That's sick. That's interesting. The summers where you get recruited because I don't know if it's changed now, but there really wasn't summer hockey in New York or at least Long Island. Like everyone's just working in the summer or surfing. Like there really wasn't there's no summer leagues going on. The rink, they let the ice melt and like nothing goes down. So you didn't skate for like 2-3 months almost.
Yeah, that's wild to me. Like that was like where you play your, I guess, higher caliber, if you will. I mean, we're next door to Minnesota though, so that's all they do there is play hockey. So all the tournaments there, you get on a AAA summer team and go play there.
That shit looks so sick. The Minnesota State Championships.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's incredible.
the flow. Also for Long Island, the problem is for the summer is that we have lacrosse. Like lacrosse is just such a big sport here that like
Yeah.
that's where like most kids are getting recruited probably like to go play D1 sports. But
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
true.
let's transition now to going back to when you said the Canadians. Could you tell us which player that was that is your friend growing up?
I would say we just were teammates on high school 2 years. Cole Caulfield played Smash. I mean, I wouldn't say I played with. I did a lot of watching from the bench when he was on the ice. He's just unbelievably skilled. It was ever since I can remember. But yeah, it was crazy being able to watch him from high school to what he's doing now. It's really cool journey to watch. That's why I root for the Canadians now.
Was he like by far like when you guys were playing teams? Was he just like Connor McDavid right now, basically?
It was insane. I think we played. So like I'm looking back, it must have been my junior year of high school, and our first 3 games, we were a pretty good team in the state. And we think we played like they ranked Wisconsin high school teams. Everything. It was like 3 top 5 teams in the state back to back to back. First like 3 games a season. I think Cole had a hat trick in every game to start off the season. It was insane. Like you could look up his stats from Smash and just nuts. He's there for 2 years, and I think he's like second all-time scoring versus guys who were there for all 4 years. And it's just it was insane to watch. No else.
That's
But
crazy.
Yeah, it is.
What was the high school team? Were they really good, your team?
we always were a better team. It's SPASH. It stands for Stevens Point Area Senior High, but SPASH, what it goes by, SPASH. But yeah, I mean, Cole was there. Joe Pavelski went there back in like 2002, won their own state championship. So I know there's a huge Sharks and now Stars population in central Wisconsin, and that's why.
That's sick. One of my buddies, he played up in Rockford County, which is like basically like 45 minutes north of New York City, and that's not far from where Trevor Zegras grew up playing. So my buddy used to play Trevor Zegras in high school hockey, and he said they used to dust Trevor Zegras' team. He said there's a bunch of like learn to skate players and then Trevor Zegras. And he'd score like 7 goals and they'd lose like 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, we had a decent team. I mean, Cole's brother Brock plays for the Badgers this past year, so we had him and then a couple other younger guys who were pretty talented, a couple Division I commits, and then just a bunch of guys like me who are ripping the beer leagues now but still love the game. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Cole Caulfield's an absolute stud on the rink, obviously. What was he like off the rink, in the locker room, in school?
I think it's the same stuff you hear now in like the big time media, that he's just kind of one of those guys who's always smiling and stuff. He's always big, like had a good time in the locker room, but as soon as he stepped on the ice, it was like, whoa, like I don't want to mess with this guy. Like takes it so seriously, but off the ice, he's a great guy. I mean, he's a blast. He's captain of our team when he's a sophomore, so I think that says a lot right there.
Wow, that is.
Jeez. If you could have grown up anywhere else, like not small town Wisconsin or small city Wisconsin, like would you have picked somewhere else? I know we're in Florida now. Like, is there anywhere else you would have probably picked, or you just love the small town Wisconsin?
I think honestly, if, like I wouldn't change anything. Like I love Central Wisconsin. It's a great place to grow up. But like if we're talking like purely hockey sense, Minnesota. Minnesota would have been so fun to grow up there. And I'd probably have to be a little better at hockey if I wanted to play on some of those high school teams, but that would have been a crazy place to grow up in terms of hockey. But Central Wisconsin, no issues with that.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
How about you guys? What about you guys?
Max, you want to start us off?
I would probably say Florida. I would love to live in Florida right now. I'm sick of the cold and being in upstate New York. I mean, I can't wait for summer to start, really. What about you, Jared?
Like I love Florida. I think though I think we grew up in the best place possible. Long Beach, like small town, you have everything, like hockey teams all nearby, you have the beach. I think something now, like especially there's not in Florida, I never see kids playing outside. Like we grew up, we'd go to Max's house, we'd run home from school. Literally, like we might run home. We would go grab, his mom would make these sick empanadas. We'd play street hockey. Like we'd be in the street outside playing for hours, ripping mini hockey in the basement, like playing youth hockey. There really was no better place to grow up. And I think that's like the biggest thing for me, like here in Florida. Like if I was raised a family, like I would want the walking and biking accessibility that you don't have to drive everywhere. I love that. But it's not a big city, so you get all the best benefits, I think.
For sure.
Good one, Jared.
So
that was a good one. All right, you want to transition on from the interview? All right, so now we will do the big news coming out is that Gary Bettman said that we're going to have some sort of expansion team coming up. Where would you like to see it go? Jared, would you like to start?
I mean, I don't think it's definite that he's going to expand, but if they were, I don't think Atlanta's the answer. I mean, that failed twice, so I don't think that's the answer. And I also don't think they should do one team. They think they should do two, unless it's a track team. So, I mean, there's a lot of places. I mean, Wisconsin might be a fit. I don't know what Madison's like, or
that'd be
the other big city.
They have in Milwaukee. They have an AHL team, the Admirals. I don't think they draw too huge a crowd, so that's probably what deters them from there. But I think if they did, they would be set up in Milwaukee. The Pfizer Forum is set up for hockey. It's a brand new stadium built like 3 years ago. So, I mean, if it came to Wisconsin, people would come out of the woodworks for them.
Gotcha.
Go one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think big cities that like would accommodate it. I mean, I would love to see the Nordiques come back in Quebec. I don't know what seeing another Canadian team would be pretty cool. And I think the other one that sticks out would be probably Houston.
Yeah.
I think like Houston's like the fifth biggest city, I think, in the country. So I think there's no reason they couldn't sell out crowds.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
I mean, we see like Texas and stuff. Like the Stars are good. Like, and they sell tickets. Like it works in Houston, and like to get it in the South, and like hockey will probably be very big because like it's such a North sport. Like I would see like Houston, Atlanta. I mean, probably Atlanta again would be fun.
But it failed twice there. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
I
it
know.
couldn't work.
There was another
Charm.
team.
Who? Like in Atlanta?
No, that wasn't Atlanta. It was like I saw they had like a sold out crowd like for like an exhibition game or something, like a city.
Maybe Cleveland, like the Cleveland Barons.
Could be that.
I'm trying to think what else. I mean, Hartford Whalers, but I don't think the Connecticut crowd would be big enough.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like a New England team might not be terrible. I guess Hartford wouldn't be the worst. What do you think, Eli?
Honestly, I think Houston would be pretty cool. There's such a big population, and one of those cities where people are probably just looking for something to do as well. But I like what you said about Wisconsin. If it's on people's mind, I know this past year they did a exposition game with, I want to say it was a Red Wings Blackhawks game in Milwaukee. So maybe they're testing some waters. Who knows? But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Give me a team to cheer for.
I also think, I mean, not necessarily expansion, but I think the Panthers need to move. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but they need to be downtown Fort Lauderdale. They'd sell 1 million more tickets, and like they would like everyone, all the players live down here. Like if you've seen like there was an interview with Matthew Tkachuk the other day, and he talks about always walking up and down Las Solas. Like if they could have a barn down here in Fort Lauderdale, they would sell so many more tickets. It'd be crazy. So that'd be like kind of my go-to. But that's not expansion. That'd be just moving that to sell more and do better. As far as another expansion, I don't know, maybe a second Carolina team, maybe Charlotte. I mean, they're probably 3-4 hours away. That'd be something that would stand out to me. Anyone else think of any other ones?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, I like that one. Kansas City would be a really good option, I think.
I think that's where I saw they like sold out a game.
That makes sense. I can believe that. I'm trying to think where else. I mean,
There's so many
no part of
cities.
Miami.
Top three, who would you say though? I would say it's Quebec, Houston, and probably like Kansas City would be top three.
Those are probably the top three. Yeah, I tend to agree.
Or Milwaukee.
I don't think it'd be Milwaukee, but those would be my top three. I don't know what's.
Eli's like,
Yeah,
no.
As much as I'd like it.
Maybe Jacksonville. I don't know. That could be an option. I mean, so far north. Like if you're in Georgia, you could drive there if you want.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Realistically, I do think the top three would be Quebec, Houston, and Kansas City. But you could sprinkle in a Jacksonville or a Charlotte, or I don't know what Indiana would show out, but like Indianapolis is a pretty big city. I don't know if they could get a crowd going there.
Yeah.
There's
Or
sports.
maybe Oklahoma City. I don't know what Oklahoma City's deal is, but those would be my thoughts. But we can switch it up. I guess keeping with the teams, Minnesota has been red hot in the last few weeks, making that playoff push. I think they're like 8-0-2 in the last. I'm not even sure. 8-0-2 in the last that'd be 10 games. So I guess in the last 10 games for 8-0-2, so they're pretty hot. Revo had a little Gordie Howe hat trick, and Boldy had a hattie, and then I think he's got a goal streak of he just scored again last night. So Matt Goldie's been pretty hot. Boldy, not Goldie. So that's pretty cool to see.
Playing like a Goldie.
Yeah, seriously.
He's 52 points, honestly. I didn't even realize that. He too.
That's a quiet 52
That
points.
is.
And yesterday I was watching the Rangers game. I didn't even realize Chris Drury's nephew, which is Ted Drury's son, is on the Hurricanes.
Jack
So that's pretty
Drury.
cool to see.
Yeah, that was. And he had a good game. He had like a couple good quality shots on us.
Yeah, he made some good hits too.
All right, what
Go ahead,
else?
Mike.
Miko Randon with 47 quiet tucks. I mean, what a guy. And also, we have had some problems with the Rangers' two power plays. I think it should be just one, and I've said that. And then I mean, I think they have been trying to run that in practice now, and it's probably going to work best. What do you think?
I think I tweeted this out. I hate their two power play lines. They had maybe the best power play in the league. I'm biased, obviously, but when they had Zibanejad going, he was like the number one power play goal scorer.
Yeah,
They had Slang going, and then they got Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko. I'm like, oh, we have so many superstars. Let's put together two great lines. So now they both get a minute on the power play. Neither line gets comfortable and settles down, and then we can't score goals. And I don't know why they changed it up. Like, why not have that great power play line? Maybe you want to mix Kane or Tarasenko in, but then just have them run right after, and they'll buzz into a great moment. Keep that momentum going.
yeah,
I watched the Panthers Hurricanes game yesterday. They looked awful on the power play, and they let up a shorthanded goal. So, or I don't know if they let up a shorthanded goal, but the momentum, it switched like end of the second period or beginning of third, and the game turned, and they should have won.
yep.
But that was a TSN turning point right there.
It was. It's a fact what you just said. I can't lie about that. I think they'll pick it up and get it done before the playoffs, though. I don't think it's like a major issue. I mean,
Yeah, just
we depend on the power play for so much, so many goals. Like it just has to score.
yeah. And speaking of scoring, I mean, McKinnon hasn't been here all year, but he's still like a top 10 point scorer this year. I think in the 57 games he played, he has 88 points, which I think, aside from McDavid, he's the second best, I think, for points per game, which he's like almost at 2 or like 1.7 or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
So he's playing pretty sick. He's pretty quietly going to put up 100 points this year.
Picked it
So,
up. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. We've known that, McKinnon. He's just a
yeah,
dog, and he will just strive, as always.
100%. And speaking of dogs, Jonathan Quick, I think a little anger's been ignited in him, and he's determined. I mean, if I'm the Kings, I don't want to see Vegas first round. Vegas with Quick and net looks lethal. I mean, they were suffering all the goalie issues. I mean, Logan Thompson has been great in net, but I believe he's hurt right now. So really picking up the slack for them. But, I would love to see him get some revenge. I feel like after all he's done for LA, they kind of screwed him over. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I think he's good. I think Quick is just gonna have the redemption story now, and he will just eat. I mean, he's still a solid goalie. I mean, it was just a business trade really for the Kings. I mean, they're just trying to make the best roster they possibly can for that team.
I agree. Eli, any thoughts of that too?
I was always a big Jonathan Quick fan, so I see him do well. Olympic rosters and stuff. So yeah, I hope he does well.
I think he's 12 wins away or 15 wins away from all-time American wins
goalies.
for goalies.
Mhm.
So that's pretty cool.
All right, you want to transition? All right, Andrei Svechnikov had tore his ACL and is done for the season. I mean, that's a really tough blow for the Canes. This will affect them probably for the playoffs, like deeply. I'm hoping we play them now and not the Devils. That would be probably better for us, but we'll see. What do you think?
I mean, the Rangers have Carolina's number in playoffs. I think both the Devils and the Hurricanes aren't the scariest playoff team. in my opinion. Granted, I think they could win any given series, but I just don't think they have the depth right now or the veteran status to really win the playoff series. Maybe first round. I mean, I think this is probably a crazy hot take, but I'm more scared of the Islanders right now. I mean, Sorokin's a freaking wizard in net, and did Barzal get back into that lineup yet, or is he
No,
going to get
not
added
yet.
in soon? Look,
Very
that
soon.
team's a scary team. I hate to pump their tires, but I wouldn't want to play the Islanders, and I don't know. I'd be scared if I was the Bruins or the Hurricanes. Whoever's the number one seed, I think if the Islanders get into that wild card one and play either the Hurricanes or Devils, I'm betting Islanders. I think they'll win that series.
Really? That's crazy. All right. We'll see
It's
about
a hot
that.
take. But yeah, keep on the hot take. Not hot take per se, but quietly, Jamie Benn put up 30 Genos this year. Guys, he's pretty much back. Him and Tyler Seguin have been
Yeah.
they've been buzzing. I mean, they're getting paid like $10 million a year, so or eight, 9. They have fat contracts, and they've been pretty brutal the last couple of years. So I mean, them waking up, that whole team, and they're not even the superstar anymore. Robo is an absolute all-star. Heiskanen and Andre Net. I mean, Dallas might be quietly the favorite to win the West,
Yeah.
and that's another hot take. But
Not even
Um,
hot. They're one of the better teams, I would say, in the West.
definitely agree. And switching gears from the league, the NHL, to the beer league boys. You see those new tarps they just got in, Eli, for our team?
Yeah, I'm excited to put one on. Those look sharp. Those are sharp. Look like the Sabres cut, the old red and blacks. Those are clean.
Oh, the goat heads.
Yeah, it's gonna be a look good, feel good type deal. I might actually start producing.
What are we, what's our team name? The Roy Street Sharpshooters?
Yeah, sharpshooter's got a little cowboy
So
on it.
pretty soft name, but,
I don't mind
get
it.
some.
It's a good name.
Yeah, I guess with the logo it looks better, but like sharpshooters, like it's like the snipers. I feel like in my head, which kind of sounds soft. You win some, you lose some.
Generic name.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there's worse names in our league for sure. There's the Pucks.
Yeah,
There,
a lot of creativity into that one.
Oh,
what'd you say?
The creativity went into that one. They dug deep. Pucks.
Yeah, that's probably the worst name. Is there anyone else? Oh, Slashers is pretty soft.
Lime green jerseys.
Yeah, those shits are gross.
Yeah.
What's the other team? Dr. J's, and just like one of the guys is like a chiropractor, so that's not the worst.
What is it, the Bunnies or something? The other team?
Oh, the Puck Bunnies. That might be the worst.
Yeah, that's a tough one for those guys. Like, I don't know who came up with that on their team, but
That's an ACHA team. That's the ACHA. That's Lynn University. There's Lynn University plays in our league, which is stupid.
they definitely are like in tip-top shape too. Like they're just playing
Dude, we
against a
mocked them
grown
last
man.
week.
Really? Good shit.
13.
I was saying, what do you say?
We put up 13 against them in the men's league.
It was their backup goalie, but still, come on now. If you're playing like D3 club or something, like we were 7 fucking people. Like you should be able to beat 7 washed up kids. So that's not a good look.
Yeah.
No.
But what are you gonna do? And just want to give a little tip the hat to past Ranger and great person Brian Boyle. He officially announced retirement today, and he's going to join the NHL as an analyst. So props to him. Good luck to him, and hope the best.
Love you, Brian Boyle. Always been a great Ranger. Represented what we are as a team.
It's a good man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anything else before we jump to the top 5?
No.
All right, let's jump to it. You want to do the top 5 players to watch first, or the top 5 teams?
We could do teams.
All right. Eli, do you want to start us off with your top 5 scariest teams, I guess you want to go with?
These teams, all right. I'd do some digging for this. I'm a big playoff hockey guy, so I went mostly with that stuff. Is the teams in the wild card hunt right now? I got Calgary, scary. I think they're 4 points back of the Jets right now. That's what I'm seeing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
No, I think that's right.
games left, and 4 of them are versus eliminated teams from the playoffs already. So half their games, pretty easy slate. Only 4 points back of the Winnipeg Jets, who are the second scariest in the scary sense of they got to hold on to this wild card spot. And they got some tough games ahead of them with the Devils, Kings, Avalanche, and Wild. So and Calgary, so that'll be a fun one to watch when the Jets are playing the Flames. Then I got on the other side the Florida Panthers, only 1 point up on the Pens right now. So and a little bit of a tough schedule ahead of them with the Rangers and the Leafs twice, and then the Hurricanes as well, and the Penguins as well, who are in that race. And then my 5th one, I'm rattling these off fast, so you guys my 5th one, scariest team. Every team in the NHL now, in the sense of scary, the fact they're going to be wearing Fnatic jerseys in 2 years. No more Adidas, no more name brand. They're going to be wearing Fnatic jerseys. That's just scary to think about. It's a tough.
It's Reebok.
I think that's just such a tough look for the league. Like, it's like you. Who wants to buy a Fnatic jersey? Like, what like youth teams would be like? We need to get some Fnatic jerseys that the big leagues are wearing now. So scary for the league.
Yeah, it is. Cheap jerseys.
That's gross.
I can go now.
Do it.
I don't have it in any direct order, but Bruins, still one of the hottest teams in franchises. 11 losses. Gonna break records. They do it every game on a 4-game win streak. I have the Canes next. They are looking good still, even without Svechnikov. Still a team to beat. Great system, but will losing him cost them in the playoffs? Probably. I have the Rangers next. Looking like the playoff team that can actually make a push that we saw with the 13 goals in 2 games. Done giving up. Be a true test for this team coming up, actually, with Canes, Devils, Lightning, Panthers, all those teams. And it'll be good to for them to get to the playoffs. Next I have Colorado. Hottest team right now, 6-game win streak. Georgie passing the test of being a starting goalie. Love to see that as a former Ranger. And they're starting to click right before the playoffs, which is exactly what you want. And my last one was the Kings. It is the series team in the West and team to watch out for. Lots of weapons, and the trade is starting to make sense for Quick. They're 8-0-2 in the last 10. Gavrikov is playing amazing, and just other Kempe and Kopitar just clicking and starting to get it together. Jared?
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a little West Coast tire pump. So we've been pumping the East for a while. So I think right now, not in this order, but Vegas, red hot. They're a scary team. I think they've won 8 or 9 of their last 10. So they're on a streak. We talked about Quick coming in. Maybe he was that confidence piece that they like and they can feel comfortable with. I got the Wild also. They're red hot. The boys are buzzing. They're also a scary team, and they've jumped into a playoff spot, so they're going to be a team to mess with. Kings, another West Coast team. As you said, 8-0-2 in the last 10. They're buzzing. There's no other way to put it. The only East Coast team or East Conference team I have is actually the Panthers. So I'm pumping their tires. They've been winning nonstop. They might have the best offense right now. The only thing is they need to stabilize the back end and then make sure. If Bobrovsky decides to turn it back to 2017, they're a scary fucking team. But if Bobrovsky wants to turn it back to December, then they're just nobody. So I think it depends on the goaltending. But Matthew Tkachuk is an absolute fucking sick man. He might be, it's so crazy. He won't win anything because McDavid's in this league. But if McDavid weren't in, he might be the most beneficial player to his team.
Yeah.
I think he's going to put up easily 100 points, and he had like 15 points, I think, in the last like 6 games. So he's been sick. And then I had the Avs as my fifth team. They've been red hot. We talked about Mikko Rantanen, almost 50 goals quietly. Well, I feel like no one talks about it. The Nate Dogg's about to put up 100 points and like not even play 70 games, I don't think, or might play just 70 games.
Yeah.
So that team will be sick. If Landeskog could hop in for playoffs, Georgiev's hot. Georgiev, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but
Georgie.
look, Georgie. And if Cale Makar is on his shit, I mean, look, the Avs win. They won it last year. I could see them coming out of the West and being that West Coast team, or the Western Conference team in the Stanley Cup Finals. So real scary there. But let's flip it to the top 5 players to watch. Who wants to start us off this week?
You start off.
All right. So first player, I mean, look, there's no order here. Again, Matthew Tkachuk just stated he's a sick bastard out there on the ice. He's been playing the lights out. So he's my number one. Or not number one. He's the first player I'm mentioning. These are not in any order. I got Mika Zibanejad. He's, I think, at 9 or 10 points in the last, like, 4 games. He's been sick out there, like almost a goal per game, if not exactly a goal per game, and then racking up some apples. So I love that. Carter Verhaeghe has been just quietly tearing it up alongside Tkachuk. So, that Panthers offense is rolling. Granted, they're kind of getting a little who's they played last week? Canadians, I think, where they all decided to score. It was like 10 goals in the first period. So, like, kind of affecting the stats a bit when, like, they have no defense, and the Canadians apparently had no defense either. So that was a barn burner. And then the next guy I'm going to talk about is Sorokin. I don't know if you saw his save the other night. I don't know. It was on Toronto.
Yeah.
Dude, he is sick.
Yeah.
Him and Igor might be leading the pack for the next 10 years as far as goaltending goes. They're both insane. And then this actually be my number one guy, Matt Boldy. He's been red hot, just finding twine all night long. Had a hattie and continues the goal streak. So good for him. And the boys are buzzing.
Good one. Eli, you want to go?
Yeah, I kind of misread this one, like scariest players. I thought we were talking. So I got 2 guys I'm excited to watch this time of year. I'll give you those 2. And then
Wait, give us your top 5. Wait, what was your top 5?
I just have 2 guys I was just pumped to watch
It's
right now.
fine.
We're always going to be scary.
That's perfect.
But it seems like every year, right into the playoffs, right when you're starting up playoffs, ramping up, it seems Reeves is in the news for something. And especially that first round playoffs, he gets the healthy scratch one night, and you're like, oh man, he's suiting up tonight. He's going to be going with someone, or they're going to want to play physical. So I just love that. Every year, it's been like the past 5 years, I feel like you get that same storyline with them. So I'm pumped for that to happen again. Early playoffs just gets out there to toss some bodies around. And then
Love
maybe
it.
Tuck one, which would be awesome. And then Joe Pavelski, this time around, it's got to be the Stars year. Finally knock that. I think he's got a championship at literally every level. Youth hockey, he's got the Wisconsin State chip. High school hockey, he's got the Wisconsin State championship. Juniors, he won the USHL with the Waterloo Blackhawks. Won an NCAA championship with Badgers. Now he's just got to knock off the NHL. I'm hoping he gets scary in the playoffs this year, late season.
Love it.
Love it.
I'm only a few chips away from doing the same thing.
Hey, well, not too late.
Just need to go back to school, get my NCAA one, and then make the NHL somehow, and then I'll knock it out.
You still have 4 years of eligibility. Let's let people know.
Yeah.
All right.
I could be like J.R. Smith, where he went and plays like D1 college golf.
All right. All right, I can give mine. Is that it? That's all you got?
Yeah.
All right.
That's all you need.
All right. Very good. My top 5, I have them ranked. I did Mika first, Mika March. What a great holiday. Probably the most underrated player on the NHL right now, I would consider. He's 9 points in 4 games, and he was the first star of the week. Second was Cale Makar, along with the Avalanche. On fire, so is he. He has 9 points in his last 4 games. He's a second star of the week. Third is Robo. I mean, huge season for them to get them in this playoff spot. And he's one of the reasons that they're there. He had a huge overtime winner the other day I saw. That was sick. Number 3, we'll go Igor. Starting to find his game. Tough game against the Canes, but he's starting to become the old Igor we remember for the playoffs, and that's exactly what we want. And finally is Ovechkin. He just had another 40-goal season, the most in NHL history, past Gretzky with 13 in a season. I mean, 13 seasons of it, and he's still not done, which is pretty crazy. And if the Caps have any chance to make the playoffs, it's definitely through him. Yep, that's what
Yeah,
I
I mean,
got.
he's insane. All right, let's end with one would you rather question for the would you rather segment, and then we can call it quits. So here's our question. Would you rather have to work a 9 to 5, like your normal day job, 5 days a week, your salary is whatever it is, or every day you have to run/walk a marathon? You get the same pay. So say whatever, it's $100,000 for your day job or $100,000 to do a marathon every day. You could walk it or run it. You could break it up.
Do I get
But you got
weekends?
to get those 26 miles in.
I get my weekends off still.
Yeah. You only have to do 5 days a week.
Oh, easy the marathon. That'd be so like I'd be in such good shape. Like would be my workout, do my day job, my workout, like everything would be awesome. I mean, especially in Florida. Couldn't live in Wisconsin in the winters. That'd be miserable. But yeah, I would
You
do
get sick days.
sick days. Yeah, I probably wouldn't even use them. I'd be such good shape. Wouldn't have to.
He would.
That's
I'll have to be there. But, oh, easy the marathon. I
Grant,
think
what do you got?
I have the marathon as well. I mean, you would be in great shape, and you could just have. I mean, after a while, you would probably get a lot of free time because you would get it down like probably like early morning and be done in like what, like 8 hours, 9 hours.
you'd make David Goggins look soft. You'd have to come with a whole new shtick if that was the deal.
There was one of David Goggins' friends. I read a book by him. I can't think of his name right now. Another Oregon guy, and he had talked about he worked in like a factory or something, and it was like with the David Goggins thing, like no excuses, no bullshit. He would run a marathon before work every single fucking day.
That's insane.
That might be the single craziest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
But the
HR
boys are
problem with that guy. Not a lot of productivity, I bet, on the job.
no. I think he was still killing it.
Yeah. Props to him.
Some
man.
people are just built different. You just
Yeah.
gotta want it more.
I guess, yeah. Damn.
That's crazy.
But the boys will be doing walking and running marathons every day, and yeah, that basically ends it up here. Eli, appreciate you coming on, talking some hockey, and we'll have to have you on again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Thank you.